Hello everyone, this is Mini Ninja speaking. Today's episode is a bit of a special one as we're nearly done with the Beast Deities set of reviews, as the releases we're looking at here are technically the second last ones done by the company, or at least two variations of it, being Jade Rabbit, aka legally distinct Vegeta, as you're about to see from the packaging here. First off, worth noting that the clamshells that they're using on these things now is very much appreciated for storage purposes. You can see the figure with, surprisingly, the animal head intact on there is properly stored in there, along with some Ziploc bags holding the various accessories on there, and I can definitely see there's some weird things going on there compared to normal. But as soon as we get out of the protective clamshell, we have two figures stacked side by side. One of them, I believe, is a Xenoverse version of the thing, a time traveler version of Vegeta, which stands at roughly, actually both of them are about 6.5, roughly from the tip of the ears there. And as we take a look at the articulation on both, you can definitely see that even though the bodies have slightly different upper torsos and arm bits, overall these are what you're expecting out of your standard 3.0 articulation points. So you have your 30 points of articulation plus. Although what I will say is, as this is a brand new body type, in fact I think this is the first Vegeta figures that have been done by Beast Deities in this new style of the 3.0, you can kind of tell it's the case because there's some stiffness going on here. This is kind of problematic, particularly on the upper body and the butterfly joints. Those are incredibly stiff. I am not able to get those to safely move at this point. However, if you look for the ab crunch and everything else there, elbow joints, neck joints, hips and knees and ankles, I can safely say those ones are able to move just fine. A little stiff if anything, kind of what you expect right out of the package, but the butterfly joints, shoulder joints, are notably problematic. Don't mind that. That was more me just pulling it a little harder than I was supposed to, but in a second it will pop right back in once I get it realigned, and I've had no further issues with the toys, just for post-review information on that one. So, all in all, no issues. Looking at the second body, second verse is much the same in the verse, same roughly 30 plus points of articulation there. What I will say as I'm messing around with this though, I have the exact same issues going on with the butterfly joints and shoulder joints. They are incredibly stiff and incredibly tight. And frankly speaking, once again, going to need some more silicone oil on this one too, in order to safely move, which I'll emphasize more in a minute. That being said, neck joint just works fine, double jointed elbows in there, wrist joints are completely fine. Everything is more serviceable. No issues with the hips this time, although I will say the waist joint is a touch tight. But all in all, nothing that can't be fixed with some silicone oil. Nice splits, just the same as the first figure. No issue with the double jointed knees, no issue with the ankle joints or the toe joints. So, all in all, it's the shoulders you need to worry about on this toy, as I'm going to be elaborating on in a second, because when I say that they're tight, I really mean that they're tight. Like, even after I put down some oil, those things are actually quite dangerously tight and difficult to move, as, you know what? Here's an auditory example. As you can see, I was not skimping on the oil either. So, yeah, watch those shoulders. Now, getting into the recognizable character parts, this is kind of a interesting bit. I forgot that they did this. The first figure, the Xeno Vegeta, actually includes two different sets of hair sculpts on there, one being a base version on here, which you can see popped on just for fitting, fits on there just fine, I might add, as well as a stylized Super Saiyan one, haircut, or Super Saiyan 2, however you want to look at it, with a little bit of shading on there, but we'll look at that next. Changing planes is pretty easy. This is one of the masked variants on there. I believe the masked Saiyan look. I forgot what the deal with the mask is off the top of my head. If anyone remembers, please tell me in the comments. But kind of swapping in and out of the new faceplates, not too much of an issue. Fits on there pretty regularly, or pretty easily, I should say. And in terms of how it articulates, moves around just fine. You don't really have any range issues with any of the faces on there. So it's good to know. So this is with the Timebreaker, I think this is the name of the Timebreaker mask on there. We're going to take a look at some of the other faceplates that are attached to this in a second. With the remaining faces here being more standard Vegeta ones. So basically you got yourself this nice little stern expression on there. Aside from I'd say the eyes feel like they're a little bit closed on there, but aside from that, that's more of a stylistic thing more than an actual issue on that one. Yelling face on here. Everything's nice on point. Everything's neatly painted on there. A nice detailing with the extra decals around the eyebrows. Just get the accent point. And of course, a smirking face, because you can't have a Vegeta without a smirking face of some sort. All in all, everything honestly fits on there just fine. As you can see, faces plates are easy to switch in and out. And in terms of swapping heads, it's actually incredibly easy to get one head off and put the next one on there. So that's exactly what we're going to do here with the stylized Super Saiyan haircut there. As you can see, actually a nice little bit of gradient going on there. A little bit of orange on there, a little lighter on the top, although with the lighting it's a little hard to see. Windswept look. Vegeta kind of staring off sternly off to the side on there. Don't mind the fact that it's not placed on there flush in that case. That's more me on that one than issue with the faceplate. More of a angry expression, and surprisingly a black eye look on there. Surprisingly, no standard kind of neutral face on this one, which is a bit weird, if anything. Looking at the accessories that come with this particular toy, once again we have a couple of different sets of hands, but what I find more interesting is that they actually found a better way to store the hands for later usage, namely these nice little kind of pegs or extended handstands, for lack of a better term on there, which you can see do an excellent job holding everything in place. But that comes with a little bit of a caveat, which I'm about to show you, in that the pegs that they use for the handstand there, the little hand storage, are actually slightly off in scale. Namely, they're a bit larger than what comes with the pegs on the actual toy itself. So, while you're able to switch hands on and off with absolute ease on this particular toy, they're not exactly stiff on there. They rotate incredibly easy, you can see there, with no real effort, so that might pose a problem for the particular hand that you'll see in the next peg, which actually supports the weight of the effect piece on there. So yeah, you'll want to kind of keep an eye on that one. Pity too, there was an incredibly great idea, just a slight issue on the execution in terms of the storage there. Hopefully if they, well actually I was about to say if they do it later releases, but quote unquote they are disbanded. So yeah, someone will have to just fix up that concept for a later time, which we will discuss at a later point. Now, next on, the toy actually also comes with some replacement pegs for the wrist pegs, and I believe those are the ankle pegs on there. Or the ankle joints, let me correct myself, which is always a pleasant addition. And what I found particularly surprising, this effect piece here, which you can see, lights up via magnet. Also worth noting, they provided their own batteries. Always pleasant. And of course, you can't have a Vegeta figure without a cross-arm thing, which we're not going to demonstrate here. Now, proof of concept, the effect piece on the one hand there, the hand is slightly sagging because it's slightly loose, but honestly, it looked great. It is a brand new effect piece, pleasant addition. Now, for this next one, we're actually going to be looking at the parts that came with the more standard body of the Vegeta figure, which you can see is Super Saiyan Red and Blue. Which, although the blue there is a little more Blue Evo or Royal Blue, however you want to call it, either way, pleasant addition, although as a side note, when I originally ordered this, I didn't realize these parts were actually going to be translucent like that. Unfortunately, no battery piece or anything like that, they don't light up, but if you get them in the right lighting, they honestly look really neat. Looking at the base expression there, kind of standard, smirk, yelling expression, and this other grimace on here, which, it's Vegeta, it makes perfect sense. Once again, the eyes are a little close together. And for the blue here, a smirk on there, neutral face, as you just saw prior to that one. Bit of a surprise expression, I'm not sure how to call that one. And this fun little expression of panic. Honestly, they were having some fun with this second set. We're kind of going to do a cursory look on the effect piece on this particular toy because, once again, the second verse is same as the first. You have the exact same set of hands on there and overall cross-arm bit, although it's color-coded for this Vegeta. And the effect piece is same thing, but just colored differently. Better matching with the Super Saiyan God look rather than the Super Saiyan Blue, I would say. Of course, that means you have the exact same issues, though, with the actual hand storage on there, making the hands just slightly loose. Which is unfortunate, because otherwise it's a brilliant idea, frankly speaking. And, of course, the whole cross-arm bit, which we're not going to demonstrate because I don't want to break this toy, or the other one, and I know people trying to switch in other reviews have done just that. So, aside from the shoulders, those are your big issues on this figure. If you're looking for a 3.0 style Vegeta, this is quite literally your only game in town right now, if you can still get a hold of it. So, that leaves next time, where we're going to talk about the last big release from Beast Deities. And by big, I mean big. We'll talk about that soon though. For now, catch you all later.